Y'all done poked the bear too many times. Y'all should have learned with Drake. Y'all should have learned.
You all done jab the bear too often. You all ought to have learned with Drake. I ought to have learned with Puff. I ought to have learned with Ho. I genuinely believe he's simply an outrageous egotist who loves influence. He cherishes the capacity to control and control. I felt that was finished craziness. And knowing Whitney, I don't completely accept that she would have said the show should continue. So this Diddy wreck has driven fans into a stranglehold. And this interest has individuals thinking concerning why Diddy wound up this way. When individuals dug further, they understood Diddy himself was a casualty of his tutor, Clive Davis. Yes, you heard that right. The individual who has been filled with sad claims is the individual who guided Diddy. No big surprise. He transformed out that terrible. How about we dive into the most recent embarrassment that has set the web burning? How about we start the discussion from the music chief, Clive Davis? Something like 11 years back, Clive made the striking step of emerging as by to the entire amusement local area. The 80-year-old music tycoon uncovered his direction in another journal, saying that following 50 years of associations with ladies, he was presently in a drawn-out relationship with another man. Albeit coming out stories have become more normal in the music business. Davis is essential as one of the business' most popular leaders. Not just that Davis has directed names, for example, Columbia, Arista, BMG, and Sony, since the last part of the 60s, marking craftsmen, for example, Janis Joplin, Bruce Springsteen, Famous by, and Kelly Clarkson. In spite of the fact that Clive made stupendous progress in the business, there had been a ton of harrowing tales in regards to his treatment of CBS. The rumors from far and wide suggest that Clive used to have cozy relations with his specialists to accomplish strength over them, which thusly made the craftsman more submissive. You may be considering the way in which Clive Davis' prosperity and impact connected with Diddy. Well, Kanye, as of late, let the cat out of the bag on the web, associating both the characters in a meeting with paparazzi. Kanye guaranteed that at whatever point the higher-ups need to eliminate somebody from their way, they would frequently arrange their demises to make it appear as though they unibed themselves. You out in Hollywood, many individuals come up missing. Feels like it very well. Maybe a ton of that to control damage now. One of the contentions in which Clive was involved was the demise of Whitney Houston. You find somewhat recently, Whitney should go to the pre-Grammy party, coordinated by Clive Davis. Himself, Clive, had initially met with Whitney when she was 19 years of age, and she sang one of his tunes and gave another life to it. From that day on, Whitney and Davis fostered an extraordinary cozy relationship. When Whitney died, she was just 48 years of age. So yet definitely they had a considerable amount of history. So for what reason did Clive not drop the party after the report about Whitney's demise was uncovered? It's stunning to understand that Whitney's body had not been taken out when Clive and other celebs were partaking in the party. The rumors from far and wide suggest that Clive had a truly unmistakable approach to dealing with individuals, like he would treat them well until they quit bringing in cash, and afterward he would dispose of them like simple products. Certain individuals even case that Clive realized Whitney planned to die well before Whitney left the world. The thing is, 2 days before her passing on February 9th, Houston visited vocalists Liquor and Monica with Clive Davis during their practices for the Music Leaders Party on February 11th. Soon thereafter, Houston disclosed her last execution, singing Jesus Loves Me in front of an audience with Kelly Cost in Hollywood at a pre-Grammys party. You probably won't be aware yet Houston talked on the telephone with her mom around 3:15 p.m. on February 11th, only 40 minutes before she was articulated dead in her lodging room. The idea of their call has not been uncovered by Houston, yet she said her girl appeared to be fine. Houston's demise was managed as an unplanned suffocating with contributing variables of coronary illness and substance use. As per the 42-page coroner's report, the toxicology report found that coke and metabolites added to her passing different substances found in her body included pot, fexanaxbadryl, and flexeril. Yet they didn't add to her demise. Los Angeles District Boss Coroner Craig Harvey told individuals at the time there was water found in her lungs that demonstrated to us that she was alive. When she was lowered submerged by our tests, the degree of coke was not really a deadly degree of coke, but rather her passing was confounded by constant coke use and coronary illness. However, what has individuals scratching their heads is that reports about Whitney being pounded into the ground were truly predominant at the time. Trick scholars guarantee that it is high conceivable that somebody had gone after her from behind. Panther Wright, who has been the informant for a really long time, asserted exactly the same thing. It's Grammy time that her and Clive had a battle 2 days prior. And from everything I was said to Bobby Christina was available for a portion of that battle. And afterward, the before you know it she's dead Puma uncovered that it was truly Clive Davis who might give Houston every one of the sporting substances to hold her powerless to resist him. She additionally claimed that whenever Houston had died, Clyde was attempting to revive her since he understood the capability of Houston. After she kicked the bucket, and just to fit the part, he proceeded with the party bundling it as a recognition for Houston. Yet Whitney's family later uncovered that Clive had taunted Whitney's demise by going ahead with his arrangements. And knowing Whitney, I don't completely accept that she would have said the show should go on. She's the sort of lady that would say quit everything. I won't be there. Toward the beginning of the occasion, he shared an accolade for Houston, saying at this point, all of you have learned of the unspeakably lamentable fresh insight about our darling Whitney's passing. I don't need to cover my feeling before a room loaded with such countless dear companions. I'm crushed by the deficiency of somebody who has implied such a huge amount to me for such countless years. Whitney was so loaded with life. She was so anticipating this evening, despite the fact that she wasn't planned to perform. Whitney was a delightful individual and an ability unparalleled. She graced this stage with her majestic presence and gave such countless paramount exhibitions here throughout the long term. Basically put, Whitney would have believed the music should continue, and her family asked that we continue. Not long before her passing, Whitney had supposedly broken liberated from Clive's hang on her when she disobediently strolled at a meeting with liquor and Clive fans. Conjecture that this might have maddened Clive such a lot of that he purportedly did whatever it takes to enslave her. Something else that was brought up by fans is that craftsmen like Whitney, Michael Jackson, and Ruler were worth more dead than alive, in light of the fact that after their passing their inventory would make insane numbers and specialists wouldn't be available to battle marks for the freedoms to their music and cash made by them. Panther uncovered that Clive did the film on Whitney since he needed to get some more cash flow, not entirely oak of her. When individuals were all the while lamenting her misfortune, she asserted that anything with her name on it was stringently to build Clive Davis Bank equilibrium. And nothing more. I feel like anything with her name on it is rigorously for the reasons for monetary profit for the individuals who approach her domain, including Clive Davis, accomplishes something. Ring a bell on the off chance that not let us explain it, for you see Diddy played a similar elaborate game by supposedly disposing of Big Deal, yet nobody at any point knew where Big Deal's collection went, the one that he was chipping away at before he kicked the bucket. We should not neglect Big Deal's mother uncovered that Diddy was deceiving her about Big Deal's last minutes. Puffy has been bringing